Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre from TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video, we're going to be looking at a brand new Longines Zulu time, the Longines Zulu 1925. So if you're new to this channel, this is where we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. In this video, I'm going to be handing off this review to my colleague, Danny Milton. He was the first member of our team to get a run at this brand new model from Longines. He's going to go through all the details of everything you need to know, but if you have any questions or looking to buy this watch, the link will be in the description down below to the product page. Without further ado, I'll hand it off to Danny. Let him jump in to looking at this watch.
I think it's fair to say that up until recently, Longines was considered a luxury brand rather than an enthusiast brand. And a lot of that changed back in 2007 with the reintroduction of the Longines Legend Diver, a heritage watch with a lot of history that has since gone on to spawn an entire collection that continues to grow to this day. From there, the gradual refinement of their catalog has continued, with Longines fine-tuning their go-anywhere, do-anything watch formula, which brings us to their most recent success with the Spirit lineup, and its breakout hit, the Zulu Time GMT. First released as a 42mm model in 2022, it was quickly augmented by a 39mm size the following year, where it reached critical mass with the watch-buying public. When I say this was a bona fide hit, I mean it. A Longines billboard was a pretty rare sighting until the 39mm Spirit Zulu Time came along. Naturally, a blockbuster travel watch begets sequels, and the 39mm range has continued to expand. Which brings us to the subject of today's review, the 39mm Longines Spirit Zulu Time 1925 with tasteful accents of coppery rose gold. So why 1925? Well, in short, 2025 marks the 100th anniversary of the very first dual-time wristwatch, the Longines Zulu Time, a square-cased model with some very distinct dial elements. There's a rendition of a nautical flag below 12 representing the letter Z, or Zulu in the phonetic alphabet. And of course, Zulu corresponds to the UTC reference point from which all 24 time zones originate in Greenwich, England. In fact, the prime meridian is represented by a copper strip embedded in the ground at the Royal Observatory at Greenwich, and the new Spirit Zulu Time 1925 pays tribute with its detailing in rose gold. Rose gold gets its color from the addition of copper to the alloy, making it the perfect material to honor the observatory and its 350-year history. But clearly this isn't just a handsome travel watch with historic design touches, but rather a legitimate candidate for a daily driver. So let's take a closer look at the new Spirit Zulu Time 1925. Longines clearly agrees with the old adage, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. And that means what we get here is a 39mm rendition of the watch we know and love with the same dimensions. That means a 39mm diameter, a case height of 13.5mm, and a lug-to-lug measurement of 47mm. It's a winning formula that works for so many wrists, so why would you ever consider changing it? Special mention must be made of the case's thickness, which, for comparison, slots between the Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT's 12.8mm and the Black Bay Pro's 14.6mm, making the Zulu Time quite competitive among Swiss watches of a similar size and price tier. Case finishing is as well executed as you'd expect from Longines, with fine brushing on top and along the sides of the case, divided by the polished bevels along both edges. A domed sapphire crystal adds a nice vintage bit of punctuation, and visibility is fantastic, with anti-reflective treatment on both sides of the glass. The screw-down crown is signed with the Longines winged hourglass, providing a water resistance rating of 100 meters. The screwed-in display case back offers a view of the movement within, and features commemorative engraving on the outer portion. Now let's get on to the most visible point of distinction on the new 1925 edition, the bezel. Previous Spirit Zulu Time models have been equipped with ceramic inserts, a thoroughly modern touch, but this time around we're presented with a metal insert, specifically an engraved, rose gold capped insert, for a look that's more luxurious, yet somehow more subtle, due to the absence of contrasting numerals. The insert coordinates perfectly with the dial's elements, which we'll get into in a moment. But to put a finer point on the overall presentation, this is a travel watch, but elevated. There's less of the sporty, in-your-faceness that comes with a bright, bicolored bezel, and instead a mature confidence that declares the design language of the Spirit Zulu Time as firmly established. As far as the wear experience, the 1925 comes equipped with both a stainless bracelet and a black fabric NATO-style strap with a matching stainless pin buckle. The bracelet is a 3-link design with solid brushed links that receive a hint of polish on the inner edges. The bracelet tapers pretty substantially from 21mm all the way down to 16mm, again providing a bit more elegance than some more tool-like options. The signed twin push-button clasp has a machined interior section, and the stamped outer portion offers 5 micro adjustment points for a more precise fit. Lug width is an odd-sized 21mm, splitting the difference between a too large 22mm and a more swap-friendly 20mm, but this is a watch that will likely live on its bracelet for most of its life. But if you do decide to mix it up a bit, remember 2 things. 1. 21mm straps are becoming more of a thing these days, and 2. The bracelet has a fantastic easy exchange system, making the process that much simpler. Moving on to the dial, Longines has wisely gone for an aesthetic with the 1925 that does away with multiple colors, and instead allows the rose gold to interplay with a deep, matte black backdrop. The warm tone bezel serves as the perfect frame for this picture, which takes the Spirit Zulu Time design codes and positions them as a bit more dress than sport. This is a go-anywhere, do-anything watch that could easily pair with a suit, despite its not inconsiderable capability. The warm copper tones of the dial elements include the minute track, the applied Arabic numeral indices, applied winged hourglass logo, dial text, and handset. Bright white superluminova provides welcome contrast during the day, and ample night vision capabilities for more nocturnal activities. All 4 hands are loomed, including the diamond tip of the second hand, something I appreciate that I find often gets overlooked. The dial has a wonderful symmetry, another attribute that we sometimes take for granted until it's not there. So thank you, 6 o'clock date window. There's even a cool Easter egg on the bottom of the dial below the date window, a stealthy engraving marking the 100th anniversary of the first Zulu time from 1925. Perhaps the only point of contention on the dial is the inclusion of the 5 applied stars in between the dial text above 6. It's been a divisive choice for some, but as the stars are in the same rose gold tone as the rest of the dial furniture, it's quite subtle, and at this point, the stars are a design hallmark for the entire Spirit lineup. Like the rest of the Spirit Zulu Time lineup, the 1925 is based on the Longines exclusive caliber L844.4, which is based on the ETA caliber 31.L411. The perks of having a movement manufacturer in your corporate family are many, not least of which is having them tailor a caliber to your needs. The L844.4 competes on a level where few things are expected among Swiss calibers, namely a true flyer movement with an independently adjustable hour hand and chronometer certification, in this case certified by COSC. Notable features of the L844.4 include a silicon balance spring aiding in resistance to magnetism that conforms to the ISO 764 standard, as well as a healthy 72-hour power reserve. The movement runs at 3.5 Hz or 25,200 vibrations per hour, has 21 joules, and is attractive enough to look at, sporting some nicely machined decoration, including perlage. In another cool touch, you'll note the rose gold PVD rotor engraved with a commemorative world map, highlighting the location of the prime meridian. In other words, Zulu time. Now let's look at the pros and cons, and as usual, we'll start with the cons. And I think one major con on a watch like this is that rose gold just isn't for everyone's taste. I've handled this watch for some time, and I've got to say that I find the rose gold to read much more like a copper or a bronze than a traditional gold, and I really like it. Even though it's a little fancier in some ways, it does still kind of add a toolish charm to the watch. Even though we're talking about cons, I wanted to sort of insert my personal feelings about the way the watch looks in the metal. But that being said, again, if rose gold isn't your thing, this watch may very well might not be your thing. Now another con to address here is in the clasp, which lacks on-the-fly micro adjustment. This isn't a deal breaker necessarily to me, but noticing how a lot of watches in this class have that kind of capability, I can see how it might be a make or break option. And then lastly, this is priced very close to the Black Bay 58 GMT line, and I can see many people cross-shopping watches like this, so it's important to note that these are getting very close in price, which in my opinion is very cool to see from Longines. On a high level, in the pro department, this is just simply a handsome watch that can be as easily dressed up as it can be dressed down. And I think the rose gold gives just a bit of specialness to this watch. It commemorates a lineage and a history that Longines has been very good at capturing across so many of its heritage watches. You've got Goldilocks case dimensions via the 39mm diameter and a true flyer GMT movement, coupled with 100 meters of water resistance and a screw-down crown, which makes this an ideal holiday and overall travel companion. So what are my final thoughts? Well, the Longines Spirit Zulu time has become a real mainstay in the GMT market, especially when it comes to flyer GMTs. I think the use of a chronometer movement for Longines shows a real focus on these types of watches. And on this watch, the Longines Spirit Zulu time 1925, you're seeing the brand double down, inject it with a bit more of that special sauce. Now, I'm not going to call this a contender for a one-watch collection because we've discussed the rose gold and the potential downsides or pitfalls of having it on this watch. There are very few places this watch can't go or wouldn't fit in. But I'm curious, given the inclusion of rose gold, I want to know what your thoughts on the new Longines Spirit Zulu time 1925 are. Let me know in the comments below.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please give this one a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Really do appreciate that. That does help us out. Don't just say that. Also, if you are in the market for this Longines Zulu time, link in the description down below to the product page. We do have it available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. Every purchase from TeddyBaldassarre.com comes with quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.